124 private schools in the country with a student population of 43,000 are on the verge of closing down completely as a result of huge bills that have accumulated since schools closed down in March. Kenya Private Schools Association CEO Peter Ndoro says that most investors in the sector can no longer sustain the harsh economic times occasioned by the coronavirus pandemic and may soon shut down. As Makori Ongechi now reports, several private schools have had their property auctioned to recover debts owed to creditors.
Until late last week, these metallic chairs and lockers, office desks and bookshelves, water drums and computers belonged to the Precious Gift School, a private primary school in Komarok. But not today. All this assortment of goods that also includes some motor vehicles was assembled by Liki's auctioneers on Thursday last week in a bid to recover millions of money owed by the facility. A financial crisis that has hit private institutions amid the coronavirus struggle that saw the closure of schools. The Kenya Private Schools Association CEO Peter Ndoro says 124 other basic private schools across the country are facing the same fate tonight.
We have about 124 private schools across the country that have expressed their inability to resume in January when the schools reopen, because they may not be able to sustain the rent and they may not be able to manage the expenses that may be required up to that time before the schools reopen.
He says there are about 150,000 teachers employed in private schools and a similar number of non-teaching staff who entirely rely on the institutions for their income. Ndoro says they have requested for a government credit guarantee, indicating no bank facility is willing to engage private schools at all.
How are we going to reopen in 2021? What are the implications of lack of support for the private schools? It means that very many private schools may collapse and may not be able to reopen. We are going to see an increase in expenditure in the public sector because very many learners will actually go to public schools because private schools may shut. It will increase the cost of education in the public sector. It will complicate our efforts of managing COVID-19.
Some parents have cried foul over demands by private schools for some amount of fees to sustain online learning. At Light Academy in Karen, one of the schools that have asked parents to pay half the school fees, school principal Emra Sanin says the amount paid also helps the school administration to enhance facilities ahead of the anticipated January reopening.
Parents are paying the school fees and we are paying also our staffs and teaching and non-teaching staffs. So as you know, our only income is our parents paying school fees.
The private schools are asking the government to support them by ensuring that they provide a stimulus package in form of a credit facility that is flexible in terms of repayment, interest rates, and its tenure.
A week ago, Education CS Professor George Magoha said teachers under respective boards of management will be paid their salaries to cushion them against the effects of the pandemic. While it is evident that the coronavirus pandemic has immensely affected education in the country, owners of the private schools want both the government and parents to step in helping them prepare to resume properly in January. Makori Ongechi, Citizen TV, at Light Academy, Nairobi.